the Honeybee Knits podcast. We're in the 30s somewhere. I can't remember what episode this is, which is absolutely awful. But it has been forever since I have podcasted, so let's jump right in. Today is Thursday, August 16th, and I am coming to you from Springboro, Ohio, which is about 45 minutes north of Cincinnati. My name is Melissa. If you are new, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoy the podcast. If you are returning, thank you so much for returning. As always, if you have any comments, questions, or general chatter to discuss about the content of this podcast, feel free to leave that in the comments box below. I don't typically do show notes, but I do always say if you have a question on anything that I show in today's podcast, feel free to contact me via Ravelry, Instagram, or comments below. So you can find me on Ravelry as honey_bee_knits. On just kidding. You cannot find me on Ravelry as that. You can find me on Ravelry, jeez, as Melissa1308, on Instagram as honey_bee_knits, and on and also on Etsy as honeybeeknitsco.etsy.com, where I sell my indie dyed yarn. So it's been a while. I kept promising a podcast and things just kept coming up. I ended up doing a review, which I was able to post this month, but other than that, I have not posted in about a month and a half. If you are interested in following my daily vlogs, which are pretty typically daily, follow me on Instagram and check out my stories. That's where I do most of my posting, just because it's the easiest, quickest format for me. And it is a vlog. I do talk a lot about my personal life on there. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure you follow me on Instagram. We have so much to go through today. I have 4 FOs. 4 FOs. I have 1 whip, which I left downstairs, so I'm gonna have to either pause to go get it or bribe my husband to bring it up to me. And if you can't tell, I do have some new lighting in here today, so I'm hoping that will help with some of the color problems that we've seen in the past, because I had a ring light and I don't have the greatest lighting up here, especially when I podcast at night or when it's kind of gloomy outside like today. It's been very foggy and raining. It's rained a little bit, but mostly it looks just like a little bit foggy, and I'm wondering, I live in Ohio, but I have heard that some of the smoke from the wildfires has crossed over to the East Coast, and while it's not impacting our air quality, because it is so high up in the atmosphere, it does kind of affect visibility a little bit. So speaking of which, my heart is out to anybody that is dealing with that. It is impacting several different areas right now. There are so many different wildfires going on, so I am keeping you guys in my thoughts. And hopefully they can start to gain better control of some of the ones that are occurring, so that we can start to help our friends and family rebuild. I know it's not just in the US, I know it's also in Canada right now too, so I am thinking about you guys, and if you ever need a chat, you know how to find me. So Jason did bring me my whip, so I will be able to show that.
Now watch me whip.
I'm not cutting that out. Anyway, so I am going to jump right in with administrative. I wanted to talk about, well, to give you an idea of what's going to be on the agenda today. I already mentioned I have 4 FOs and a whip. I have a ton of acquisitions. I have some shop news that I want to talk about. I also am going to get kicked off though with some Knitalong winners and some Cal news. So I think we should just, I do have some spending today too to show you if you did not watch my review. If you watch my review, you'll have already seen what I'm going to show, but if you don't, then this will be new to you. So, yeah, so let's just go ahead and get started because it is 6:16 p.m. and we have lots of stuff that I have to get done tonight. Besides recording and editing this podcast, we have to do a trip to the grocery store because Jason has a carry-in tomorrow. And I would like to get some knitting done tonight. So let's get started. All right, so first off, let's talk about the Knitalong winners. We only have one Knitalong winner, actually 3 Knitalong winners to announce today. The first Knitalong is, there's only one. So I owe prizes to the July sock Knitalong winners. So I pulled those winners randomly today. So the first winner is number 28, and that is Sarah's Nana from Maryland. Congratulations. Please contact me with your address. I will send you a package in the mail. The next 2 winners have won a pattern prize of their choice up to $7 US. So please message me on Ravelry with your choice and let me know which pattern you would prefer. So the first winner for that is number 41, Knits in Purple from Michigan. And the second winner is on the second winner is second winner for the pattern prize is number 24, which is 5 Angels CA, and she's from Ontario. So congratulations, ladies. If you guys could all get in touch with me and let me know which pattern you want or your address respectively, and I will send a package out. I will say that I am leaving for Las Vegas in a few days, so if I do not have your information, I would say by Saturday morning, then it will not go out until the following week when I get back. So just keep that in mind. And although today is Thursday, you guys probably won't get this until Friday, so it'll be a very short window to contact me. But you will get your prizes. You just might have to wait a little bit this month. Okay, so the cows that we have going on, the August Sock Knitalong cow is open and ready for business. There are a few entries already, so make sure you're knitting your socks this month and putting them in the thread. We have the Whip It Thursday cow, which is the goal is to clear off some needles, get some old projects finished, and it's becoming very successful last quarter and this quarter. I was doing really well with my projects, and I just kind of fell off because it is sweater season. Rhinebeck is coming up, and as most of you know, I want 5 Rhinebeck sweaters, which I will talk about in a minute. So make sure that if you are finishing any languishing whips, which means it was casted on 3 months or further, it was basically on the needles for longer than 3 months before you were able to cast it off. All of those count. Please make sure you post them in the thread so that you can be entered in for a cool prize. The third Knitalong that we have going on is the Honeybee Knits Knitalong, and this is something that I will be doing quarterly. The current quarter is July to September, so I will be pulling prizes for this in October, and basically anything that you knit with Honeybee Knits yarn, make sure that you post in this thread. There are some great projects that have been finished, and I'm so excited to show them to you, so I will put a slideshow at the end of this podcast today to show you some of those. The fourth Knitalong and the most recent, I believe, is our Race to Rhinebeck cow, and I talked about this on my last podcast. My good friend Levi from WTF Knitting and I had a race, a sweater knitting race, and I think it took both of us way longer than what it should have to knit the sweaters, but we did actually finish them, and I will be showing you mine today in today's FOs. But this is a cow that I am going to keep open, and I will pull winners when I get back from Rhinebeck. The idea behind this is that I will find something in Rhinebeck, whether it's a skein yarn or a bag, and that will be the prize for this cow. My goal is to knit 5 sweaters before we go to Rhinebeck, and I have 2 finished. So I have a lot to get done in like 2 months. I have 3 sweaters to do in 2 months, so we'll see how it works. But I want to see your sweaters that you're knitting. It doesn't have to be a sweater that you're going to wear to Rhinebeck, especially for those of you not going to Rhinebeck. It's just a sweater knit along from now until the end of October. So anyway, those are the knit-alongs that we have today, or that we have going on in the Ravelry group. You can find all the information for those knit-alongs as well as participate in them within Ravelry under the Honeybee Knits podcast group. So let's get into FOs. So my first FO is my July Desert Vista Dye Works socks, and I knit them in the Persepolis colorway. And this is on her regular base, so it's not sparkle, surprisingly for me. And here they are. So I finished these pretty quickly once I started them. I don't remember the exact dates that I started and ended. These feel like they were an eternity away. I love her colors as always, and that's pretty much it. I like it a lot. I have not picked out my yarn for this month yet. I plan to knit these on the plane to and from Las Vegas. So hopefully I will have them either done or almost completed by the time I get home next weekend. We shall see, because there's other stuff I want to take with me, but I'm debating on whether or not to bring it. So that's my first FO. My second FO is a hat, and I thought that I had finished this before I podcasted last, and it turns out I finished it right after I podcasted last. I think I worked on this while I was editing, I'm pretty sure, but here it is. It's another one of the cabled beanies that I am obsessed with, and this yarn is actually chunky yarn. So normally I make these out of DK held double. In this case, I did not have to do that. This is considered an art yarn, and I cannot for the life of me find the tag or remember who the maker is. I know that they make mostly bats and rovings, and I got the yarn in Greencastle, and I also purchased 2 beautiful bats when I purchased the yarn. So I know that much. And I want to say that they had the word pearl in their name, but that's all I can remember. I did have quite a bit of yarn left over. Originally, I was going to pick a pom-pom out of my stash to put on this, but I have so much of this left over, I'm really considering making a pom-pom. But we shall see. I wish, because it's chunky, I think it did not knit up as long as mine normally do with DK held doubles. So I wish it was a bit longer. I am not going to be soaking it or blocking it because I feel like that stretches the hat out too much. I will be giving it as a gift as is, and if the wearer decides they want it longer, they can simply soak it and lay it flat, and it should stretch it out a bit. There's a lot of give in cabled hats. There's a lot of room in there, so. Okay, so my next FO is my Comfort Fade Cardi. I finally finished it, and although I have not podcasted for over a month, I just finished this this week. So I'm quite embarrassed to say that because it should have been done way long ago. I am super happy with it. There are some modifications that I would make if I knitted this again, and I will share with you what those are, but first let me show you how it fits. So here we go. So it's kind of hard for me because I don't have a lot of room to back up, but I really like the length. I think if I were going to knit it in this color palette, I would either move this light gray to the very top and start with that and then go into the blue and then fade into the dark gray, or I would make this the same as or a little bit darker than this color right here, just because to me it's not a cohesive fade. I think it still looks fantastic. I still really like it. Around the body, it fits really well. I really like how it fits. It's not too snug. It is full enough that it comes out and covers my sides, but it's not too snug to the point where I can't wear a shirt underneath, and it really is cozy. I really love just putting it on and cuddling up in it, and I can't wait till winter so I can actually enjoy wearing it, because right now it's just too hot. Okay, so now for the things that I would change about the pattern. So I have a problem with knitting sleeves in patterns because I have short arms, and all the patterns that are knit that are converted for larger sizes also extend the arm lengths and the body lengths. Now this one, I was okay with this length because I tried it on as I went, and I did not, I actually ended up knitting it longer than what the pattern called for. I believe it called for 2 inches of ribbing, and I did at least 3. The other thing, so back to the arms. I originally was going to knit one size down because this should be a more fitted sweater, or cardigan. I've been losing weight recently, and I'm losing a lot of it from the top half of me. So I was originally going to cast on. I was in the car with Levi on our way to Greencastle. No, we were on our way to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and casting this on, and we had agreed that I was going down a size because the fabric is so forgiving because it is DK weight. However, for some reason, I ended up casting on my bust size at the time. My bust size has gone down since I cast this on. And because of that, there is a ton of bagging up here. I want a sweater to be fitted up here and baggy at the bottom. Not baggy, but fit comfortably at the bottom. The problem is that most sweaters don't have any waist shaping in them. So most of the patterns I've knit anyway don't have waist shaping built in. So whatever it is up here is what it is at the bottom. And that used to not be a problem because I was fuller up here. But now that I'm losing weight up here, and eventually, hopefully, I'll lose weight at the bottom too. But now that most of my weight is coming from my bust, I wish there was some sort of shaping that I could do to make it more fitted at the top and flare out at the bottom, but not be too obvious. The sleeves, because I follow the pattern precisely, because I do like the sleeves to come mid-hand. I like that effect. I probably would have enjoyed having a thumb hole in here, but I didn't feel like messing with it, and I am okay with it the way it is. I really wish, I think I should have knit the sleeves shorter so that the armpit came in closer to me, because the way I knit them, it's really baggy up here, and so I get a lot of bagging right here. So I think going down a size would help this be less baggy right here and more fitted, but I don't think going down a size would have helped the bagginess that I'm having under the arm and around the arms. So I think if I were to ever knit to this again, and I don't think I would, not that I don't like the finished object. I did not really enjoy the pattern, knitting the pattern, to be honest. And I'll tell you why. But I would definitely go down a size, and I would knit the arms shorter. In addition, because this is, in case you can't tell, the right side is actually the wrong side of the knitting. It's the purl side. So when you're done, if you knit your sweater, so for example, you can purl your sleeves, but if you don't like purling, you can actually knit them inside out and then just flip them when you're done, so that way you don't have to do all that purling, which is what I did. The problem is that the pattern is written for the purling, and I think it's pretty obvious that most people would not want to purl an entire 2 sleeves. So I think that she should have included directions in the pattern for flipping them inside out and knitting them, and then flipping on the right side when you were done. I think it would have been easier. And in addition to that, I think that she should have explained how to carry your yarn correctly, because I did not carry it correctly. The only thing in the pattern, it says if you're going to knit them inside out, to carry your yarn up the inside, which I did do. But the final object, it is very clearly carried up on the outside, and I tried many different methods while knitting this sleeve to try to hide this line when I'm carrying colors on, and this one's very obvious. None of them worked. This sleeve is so very obvious. So this one, I honestly don't know what I did to make this one less obvious, but it is less obvious, a little less obvious. I was very upset about that. I almost thought about ripping out the sleeves and doing them again, because I really do not like that. However, I'm not doing it. Because the sleeves and the collar are the reason I didn't like knitting the sweater. The sleeves I didn't like because of this. The collar took way too long. I understand that it's a thicker collar, but I did not realize how long the collar was going to take me. It is short rows. So basically when you're done knitting, you pick up over 300 stitches for my size. Believe it was 126, 82, and 126 is how many I picked up. And then you have 102 rows. Some of those rows are short rows, but you do have 102 rows you have to knit before you bind off. And it takes forever. So by the time I was done with this sweater, I was frustrated. I was done with it. I'm not particularly happy with how it fits up here. However, it's comfortable. I like the color, and I will wear it to be something to be cozy in, but I think the purpose that I wanted it for was a nice cardigan that I can wear out to work or you know, out in public, and I just feel like it's too cozy to dress it up. Like I would not wear this to a nice dinner or to work unless I was just cold at my desk, because the bagging really makes it look like a sweatshirt rather than a nice cardigan outfit piece. So it's not going to serve the purpose I want it. I mean, you can just see how far over my seams come. I really should have knit a size down, but I'm not going to reknit it. I'm not going to go through it again. So yeah, that's a couple things I would change. I enjoyed the pattern. I enjoyed I like how this is constructed. I don't like how the pattern was written. So that's all I will say. By the way, I did knit this using Honeybee Knits yarn, and this is my Take Me to the Beach collection, and it is all available as dye to order in the shop right now. Some colorways like Blue Hawaii are dyed, I have a few skeins as ready to ship. So if you like the individual colors and how they work up, you can also get those that way. So there you go. Okay, so it's time for my last finished object. So this is my Race to Rhinebeck sweater that I knit, and I believe it took me 3 weeks to finish, which is entirely way too long. Had I not slept as much as I did through those weeks, and had I been serious about finishing this sweater, it could have been done a lot quicker, as in like a week. I think I had the body knit in a week, and it took me another 2 weeks to finish the sleeves because I just didn't want to do it. I was on Sleeve Island and I just wasn't up for it. So let me stand up and show it. So the yarn that I used is called This Is For My Niches by Mitchell's Creations. It was a special edition colorway that Levi had made for us. Him, myself, and Allie from Miss Allie Makes as a gift for Christmas last year. And when she put it up for sale in her shop, I went in and I ordered a sweater's quantity. The colors are pink, green, and purple, which are all three of our favorite colors. Allie's is purple, mine is pink, and Levi's is green. And there's a little pops of gray, and there's some like pops of red and stuff. I don't know. It's more obvious, I think, over here. You can't really see it on the camera, but in person you can see all the variegated tones in it. There's where the colors mix, there's some reds and different shades of pink and purple, and yeah, I love this sweater. So, and maybe this is why I didn't like the Comfort Fade as much. This sweater fits amazingly. I made a Comfort Fade cardi. This is actually the So Faded pattern by Andrea Mowry. And I previously made a sweater like this. However, I did fade it as it's intended to be faded. The fit of this sweater on me feels amazing. I love it so much. And so when I knew that I wanted to make just a basic top-down raglan sweater, this was the first pattern that I went to. So I love how she has the garter panel up at the top of the sleeves, but then unlike the Tin Can Knits flax pattern, she cuts it off here and then you just have a regular sleeve the rest of the way. I love that detail. The fit is amazing for me. The sleeves fit perfectly. I knit the same size that I knit last time. However, last time I was using different bases of yarn. It was the same dyer, but I didn't know enough about yarn when I knit it and how it changes your gauge, because mostly I just knit shawls before. Most of the color work, most of the items that I had knit that required more than one color that wasn't color work have been shawls. So gauge really was not as important. And so, but back then I didn't realize how having a sparkle base and a regular base together could change the gauge based on where you're knitting it at in the sweater. So because of that, it fits perfectly, but there are areas that are not very cohesive in that sweater. So it's always a sweater that I wanted to remake. I love the way the pattern's written. And just to let you know, Andrea Mowry is also the designer for the Comfort Fade Cardi. So the same person that wrote the pattern I don't like also wrote the pattern that I do like. So just throwing it out there. This is fingering weight base. This is on Mitchell's Creations. This is her gold Stellina base. So it is sparkly. You can kind of see the halo a little bit. The sparkle's not showing up as well, but it is very sparkly. The length is perfect. I knit this one shorter than I knit the last one because the last one was a bit too long. I like it to come down to cover the front of my belly, but I like it to come to about mid-butt because I still like I don't like it to cover my whole butt. So I did make this one shorter, and when I tried it on, it came mid-belly. It did not cover my stomach. It came about an inch or two below my belly button. But I knew that when I blocked my last So Faded sweater, it grew. It stretched lengthwise. The arms are now, sometimes I have to roll up the cuff on my sleeves because the arms are too long. The body is really long. It covers my full back side. So I intentionally knit this one a bit shorter so that way when I blocked it, it grew, and it's the perfect length now. And I love how it fits. It's super comfortable. I don't want to take it off. It's lighter weight because it's fingering weight, and I love everything about it. Absolutely everything. I wouldn't change anything. I'm trying to think. I don't remember. I did want to mention that I did not soak or block or wet my Comfort Fade Cardi because I don't want it to grow anymore. So I have not decided if I'm going to try to wet block it where like I lay it flat, squirt the areas that need to be laid flat and pin those parts down, or if I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I haven't decided yet, but anyway, I might, in the future, I may knit the collar a tidbit longer because as you can see, as it stretches, it'll start to show some straps here. I like that it's not tight around my neck. However, I feel like on the sides, it could be a touch longer. She recommends in her pattern to knit it 0.75 inches, and I think I may probably need to knit it about 1.25 inches. So, but I'm leaving it on this one. I'm happy with the way it is. I'm not going to undo the binding and redo it. That's it. That's all I got to say about it. The next, that's all my FOs. I do have a whip to show you. I'm trying to locate my tag. So because I want to finish 3 more sweaters before Rhinebeck, I needed another challenge similar to our Race to Rhinebeck Knitalong to meet that goal. And Tristan from Dragon Horde Yarn has recently created a new sweater pattern in DK weight yarn, and it is called Find Your Way. Let me see if I can get to the front of the pattern. And to be honest, these pictures don't do it doesn't do the sweater justice. If you would like to see how they look, go check out her Instagram, because it really does. I really do like the way it looks. It's almost like a boxy, but it has cables and garter, and it's just, I really do love it. And I am test knitting it for her because she gave me a deadline, and so I know I have to get this sweater done by that deadline, and it'll help motivate me not only to stick to the deadline so that I can get a test knit for her, but also get a 3rd Rhinebeck sweater done in less than a month. So here's my swatch. I am going to do a tutorial about swatching because I have helped quite a few people in the past couple weeks with their swatches and their gauge knitting for sweaters, and there's so many different factors that can go into whether or not you receive gauge, and there's a lot get gauge, and there's a lot of different things you can do to get gauge. So there's a lot to talk about in that, and so I think the best thing to do is to either include it in one of my shorter episodes later on, or to do a tutorial just for gauge swatching, which I think is probably the better option. That way people can just find that piece when they need it and watch it then. But that is coming. It will probably be recorded hopefully the week after I get back from Las Vegas. This yarn is Life in the Long Grass DK, and the colorway is, I believe, Artifact. So originally I asked Tristan if she had a sweater quantities worth of yarn dyed up on DK, and the reason I asked her first is because she didn't have any available in her shop, but I also knew that she's been preparing for Vogue Knitting Live. She's had quite a few kits come out for fall, so I know that she's in the thick of it and she's got a lot on her plate, so I didn't want to ask for a custom order for a sweater quantity right now. So I asked if she had anything, and she didn't. So I decided to order Life in the Long Grass. I also, by the way, originally was going to dye it up from my yarn, and when I went to go look at the inventory, I did not have enough skeins of DK, and I only order yarn from my supplier in bulk, so I was not ready to do a bulk order at that time. So I'm not doing another bulk order until a week or two after I get back from Las Vegas. So it would not have been here in time for me to dye it up and start knitting with it, and I wanted to start it as soon as possible. So I did do some searching to find a DK base that was similar to Tristan's so that I can get the same gauge that she gets, because that's going to be really important as a test knitter, because they need to know how much yardage is used so that people get enough yarn when they're knitting the sweater. She did say in the pattern that I needed, I believe, 7 or 8 skeins, and I did order 9 just to be on the safe side, because again, this is a test knit. The sweater has never been knit in this size, so it's hard to say how much yardage will be needed. So anyway, I really love it, and it's looking really great on the screen. What I will say about this color, it is very transverse. It looks different tones in different lightings. In some light, it looks like it's a creamy base. In other light, it looks like it's a gray base. In a different light, it looks like it has a pinky base. So I feel like it has a lot of depth to it, and it's exactly what I want for a sweater. So there was some variation in the skeins, And I did want to say, when I knit this sweater, I rotated skeins every round. So if I was knitting flat, I rotated every 2 rows. If I was knitting in the round, I rotated every row. And I alternated skeins 1 and 2. I had 6 skeins and I labeled them. And I did skeins 1 and 2 until I had about 50 grams of each left. And then I did skeins 3 and 4. And then I actually phased out skein, and with skein 1, I used it to swatch, so I had less yarn of skein 1. So I got to 50 grams of skein 1 before I got to 50 grams of skein 2. So then I knit 2 and 3 together until 2 got to 50 grams. And then I knit 3 and 4, and I knit those to 50 grams. And then I did 4 and 5 until I got to the ribbing, and then I used skein 6 for the ribbing on the bottom and on the cuffs. And I did the same with the sleeves. So with the sleeves, what I did is I did about 25 grams on each sleeve. So for example, skein 1 and 2, I did 25 grams over here, 25 grams over here, and then phased in 2 and 3, and essentially did the same thing. And then I used skein 6 for the ribbing. So I have a ton of yarn left over, and I really need to go through and figure out how much I have left over, because I could knit some other stuff with it. Or I was thinking about potentially doing a giveaway for some of those colors, because I don't know that you can buy this colorway anymore. Some of those skeins, depending on how much of each skein there is. I know I used all of skein 1 and 2. I have some of 3, 4, 5, and 6 left. So I've got to figure out how much I have left of each of those. Or maybe I used 1 through 4 and I have 5 and 6 left. I don't know. I need to figure it out. Anyway, back to the sweater. So because this is indie dyed yarn, it's Life in Long Grass, there is some variation between the different skeins, and some skeins are darker, some skeins are lighter, some skeins are pinker. And so what I did is I laid them out, and to the best of my ability, I did darkest to lightest, and it is a bottom-up sweater. So I'm starting with the darkest skein at the bottom, and I'll work my way up to the lightest, and then the lighter ones will be on the sleeves. So this is what I have so far. There you go. So it's not much, but I have only been working on this for a few hours. I will say the ribbing took a while. But essentially how this starts out is it's knit flat. The ribbing is knit flat, so you knit 2 separate pieces, and then you join them in the round and start the cable section. So I am about, let's see if I can stretch this cabling section out so you can see it better. I am, I think 6 rows into the cabling. The cabling is a 10-row repeat, and in the pattern you do the 2 different panels and join them together, and then you knit until you reach a certain amount of inches, which I'd have to look at the pattern to know what that is, but you just continue to repeat that 10-row cable pattern until you get to those inches, and then you start your decreases to do the shaping and the collar, and then you pick up your sleeves and knit them. So yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna look great. I hope I have a lot more progress to show you next time I podcast. I think I'm only gonna take 2 projects with me to Las Vegas. I think maybe 3. I am for sure taking my Desert Vista Dye Works socks on the plane. That's the only thing I'm taking on the plane, so that I am forced to work on those. I am taking this sweater. And the reason why I'm considering a 3rd project is because I'm not sure how much time I'm going to have to knit. We're going to be pretty busy, but I do know I'm going to have at least a few hours of downtime while I'm there, and it's a 4-hour flight there and 3.5 hours back. If you're wondering why the flight time changes going west versus east, is because of my husband explained it to me, it's because of the air patterns. So and I know this is backwards for you guys it goes this way. So if this is California and this is Ohio, or this is West Coast, East Coast, so the air flows from the west to east, and so when you're going there, you're going against the wind, so it takes longer to get there. When you're coming this way, you're going with the wind, so it gives you a little boost and you get there a little quicker. So, fun fact. Anyway, it's a long flight. It's the longest one I've ever been on. It normally takes me about 10 hours to finish a pair of socks, so I think that between both flights and airport knitting, I'll be able to finish my Desert Vista Dye Works socks. I don't think that I'll need additional knitting on the plane. At least I know I won't on the way there, potentially on the way back. I don't know yet. We'll see how far I get on my Desert Vista Dye Works socks. But the one thing I will say is this is not, it's fairly easy for a cable pattern, and right now I am not to the point where I can memorize 10 rows of cabling, especially because there's, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different cable sections on both panels, and I don't want to memorize it, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe it'll be intuitive as I get into it. I've heard that it's simple. It's simple cable repeats. It is pretty easy to figure out what you're supposed to be doing when you get to those sections. It's just the fact that I don't want to have to memorize it. And so I don't know how much downtime I'll have where I will have time to sit down to be able to look at a pattern as I'm knitting. I think most of the knitting I get done will be conversational knitting, so I'll be talking while I'm knitting. So for that reason, I'm considering a third project. I know you guys have seen my Doctor Who scarf kit that I purchased from the yarn therapist for my husband's friend, and I promised that I would have it done by September for him. And at the time, that's not a problem because I had months and months and months. I think I purchased in like April-ish. Maybe it was March. So I need to get a cast on so that he can have it by the time it starts to cool off outside. And it is a garter scarf. So it's knit. So I'm considering taking that with me. In case I finish my Desert Vista Dye Works socks, I have some more mindless knitting that I could work on. I could definitely knit this on the plane. That's not a problem. I feel like if I, for some reason, finish my Desert Vista Dye Works socks, I could knit this on the plane. The problem is I am taking all of the yarn with me, which I know is probably silly of me, but I am taking the whole thing. I like everything to stay in a project bag together. I don't like splitting things up. I don't like the idea of not having the yarn. If I say, for example, I finish the sweater while I'm there, it's not going to happen, but you never know. Then I want to have the yarn with me to use. I think I've convinced myself to take 3 projects because I think if for some reason I finish my Desert Vista Dye Works socks while I'm in Las Vegas, then I would want another potato chip project to work on. So I think I'm going to take the scarf. I am definitely taking the sweater. So this sweater needs to be finished, and Tristan would like to publish her pattern by September 20th. So I've given myself, I haven't really set a date, but I do want to give Tristan enough time to go through the notes that I have. This is her first sweater pattern, so there have been some growing pains with publishing this, which is not uncommon, especially because she has such a, I don't want to say advanced, but it's definitely not a beginner pattern. So the fact that this pattern is more intricate than a beginner pattern, that's crazy to start. That's hard to start out on that. So she's had a few growing pains. There's been a few critiques that I've done so far, but that is the point of test knitting. She's hired 2 tech editors to help her with the pattern, and I think that it is a gorgeous pattern and it's going to be beautiful. And I think mostly the tweaks that I've had have just had to do with pattern sizing, because you, as a designer, you can't knit every size even if you wanted to. So she uses math to figure out the other sizing. So that's why she has test knitters, a couple for each size, to make sure that it flows correctly. So I would like to get those to her as soon as possible, which means she wants to publish it on September 20th. I should probably have it to her probably by the 10th or the 15th. So I have about 3 weeks, possibly 4, to finish this. So if it were up to me, it would be done in a week, but I'm going to Las Vegas. I'm not going to stress myself out with trying to get a sweater knit in a week and go to Las Vegas. So that is all of my whips. I did want to say that I have received a few bags from Bags by Awesome Granny, and I'm obsessed with them. I went from having none to 4. So this is one of the bags that I have. They're huge. This is probably going to be my favorite travel bag ever because it is just so well made. I love how big the handle is. It's in the perfect place. The opening is wide. The zipper's great quality. The fabric's great quality. She does adorable, cute little. She really takes time to put cute little matching fabric on the inside, and they're rather large. I have 9 skeins of DK in this bag. She also has the option to purchase a matching notions pouch for a few dollars more, and she puts a little ribbon on the zipper for a zipper pull, and it's and they're basically mini versions of her, and they're very large notions pouches. I love the idea of having a matching notions pouch to my bag. So she puts these little loops on the edge of her bag, so you could hook stitch markers to it, or whatever you keys you could hook to it. You could put anything on it. So I really love these, and that's pretty much what I've been using. And I love my fringe bags. I really do love them. I think I like these better than my fringe, which is saying a lot. So this is another bag. By the way, in case you can't tell, we're moving into acquisitions. So this is another bag I purchased from Bags by Awesome Granny, and it is her hippo fabric. And again, cute little notions pouch, adorable pink polka dots. I love polka dots. And I actually moved my Comfort Fade Cardi into this bag, and that's what it has, my leftovers in it, because my Comfort Fade Cardi outgrew my fringe bag, and I was carrying around 2 fringe bags. So I decided to just put everything in this Bags by Awesome Granny bag instead. I have a few more bags from her to show you. But they're buried, so I'll show you when I get to them. I have a mix of acquisitions today because some of these were gifts, some of them I purchased, and some of them are reviews. I did want to address that if you've seen, I have officially posted a review for Kramer Yarns. They reached out to me through a marketing group and asked me if I would be interested in testing some of their fiber to spin, which I did, and I will show it in a little bit. But I have partnered with this marketing group to do reviews for companies such as Kramer Yarns. And so what happens is I provide them the link to my YouTube and Instagram, and then they go through and select candidates to send their product to test it out. So I received quite a few emails from a few different places asking me if I'm interested in testing stuff, and so far I have not said no. It's new to me. Eventually it might get to the point where I cannot say yes because they give you deadlines, and I can't take on a ton of new reviews for the same month. So the first thing that I have to review is a DK weight yarn. This is by Brown Sheep Company, and it's called Stratosphere, and it is 100% US. Is it US? I think that was, yeah, 100% superwash US wool, DK weight 3-ply, 260 yards per 100 grams. And I picked out these 3 colors to do a 3-color DK weight shawl. I will say this yarn is very toothy. It has a very rustic feel to it, but I really like the tonals in the yarn, and I think these colors are going to go great together. So I do have plans to make a shawl for this, and I believe I have to have this knit in September or October, so you will be seeing a shawl made out of this very soon. Again, this is Stratosphere by Brown Sheep Yarn Company, and I can't wait to knit with it and let you know what I think about it. The colorways that I have are Northern Lights, the green one. I have, where are the... Celestial is the middle blue one, and Altitude is the pink one, and in case you can't tell, the line is called Stratosphere, and all the colorway names are atmospheric related or weather event related. So very cool. I really like that theme. So I have those. Another review that I got asked to do is for Zen Yarn Garden, and they sent me 3 skeins of their Serenity 20, which is 70% superfine superwash merino, 20% cashmere, 10% nylon, 400 yards per 100 grams, and I had the choice of, I believe, 2 or 3 kits, and this is the kit that I chose. So I think it goes more like this. So this colorway, and the thing that I like about Zen Yarn Garden, and I was super excited when I got a message from them, because when I went on the yarn crawl 2 or 3 years ago, there was a store that carried Zen Yarn Garden, and they had such a huge selection, and I really wanted to try it. I did not end up purchasing any because I wanted more than 1 skein and to make a larger project. The problem is that when I went on the yarn crawl, I was trying to purchase something small or less than $20 from each store that I went to, because I was going to so many, and I wanted to patron as many shops that as I could. And at the time, the price point for each skein was, I believe, $36. This yarn company, from what I remember from then, started out as a higher end luxury yarn. They did a lot of art yarns, they did a lot of silk, things like that. And so I did not purchase that skein. So when they reached out to me and they offered 3 skeins for me to review, I was more than happy to do so. I will say that their prices have changed. I believe these are very affordable now. They're less than a price. I believe they're between $20 and $30 per skein. So also, Vivid Yarn Studio tells you, if you're looking at a single skein, it tells you what yarn it pairs well with. So for example, this one is called Vivid Splatter, and it coordinates with Scallions and Violet, so which are 2 of their other colorways. So there's one. This review, I remember, is due in October, and that's why I picked this kit, because I felt that it was very Halloween-y. So I'm going to make a Halloween shawl. So then my Stratosphere must be due in September, because I'm only doing 1 per month. I don't know if I mentioned that. Then I have Scallions, so this is one of the ones they recommend to pair it with. And this one is Vivid One of a Kind, and it also coordinates with Scallions and Violet. So Violet must be that purpley tone that is in both of those skeins. So I'm excited. I think I'm making, which one's the, oh, I have decided to make the 3-color cashmere shawl with this one. And I'm making, I believe, the Jody shawl. Whichever one is, I can't remember if the Jody or the Tracy is 3 skeins of DK, but whichever one is 3 skeins of DK, that's the one I'm making out of this. So you guys will be seeing those soon. I've always wanted to make the 3-color cashmere shawl, so I thought now is the perfect time to do that. So I will show you the other 2 bags I got from Bags by Awesome Granny. Of course, the library one. You guys know me, you know I had to have this, and look at the inside fabric. This is like, that was a selling point for me. I love it so much. So these are definitely, so my French bags are definitely bags I like to use when I'm at home, and I feel like these are Bags by Awesome Granny are bags I like to use when I travel. And I haven't really traveled too much in recent years, but we are starting to travel more. This Las Vegas trip is just the start of it. I'm going to Rhinebeck in October. There's some other things that we're talking about doing next year, so definitely going to need some good travel knitting bags. And of course, this one. I have loved this fabric for so long, and I have almost bought bags with this fabric. I can't tell you how many times. But I never did, because this is the first Bags by Awesome Granny is the first bag maker that I saw use this fabric. And so I always stopped myself from purchasing from the other bag makers because I always wanted to get it from her. And I don't know, I followed Bags by Awesome Granny for years. She's one of the first bag makers I came across, and I don't know why I never purchased from her before, but I'm so glad that I did. I absolutely adore her bags so much. So this one, again, with the polka dots, I'm obsessed with polka dots, bright orange polka dots. So how could I not? Yeah, I'm excited about that. I have some Tits Out purchases that I received. These are the last of my Tits Out purchases. They have come in. This one is Teeny Button Studio, and it is the, I guess I'd probably take it out of the bag. So this is Teeny Button Studio, and it is Titties for Kitties, and I believe her charity went to some sort of animal shelter. And this is on her soft sock base, and boy, she is not kidding. It is soft. Colors are gorgeous and bright. I love all of the Tits Out colorways. This is 75/25, 463 yards, and I just love it. Yeah, I really like all the pink tones in there. And I love my new lighting because everything is showing up accurate on the camera, as far as I can tell. So I love the splotches of purple. I'm really happy with this one. I received some spinning fiber. This is the spinning fiber that I purchased for Tits Out, and this one is called You Look Tired, which I think, you know, a lot of women get that. I've gotten that before, where smile more. You look tired. You look sick. Just because we're supposed to be beautiful, happy-go-lucky all the time. So I definitely get the reference. And I was trying to put it back into the gorgeousness that it came in, but alas, I could not do it. So I would just show you this braid. And this is a new to me fiber. This is Merino Tencel 50/50. So I've spun with Merino and Tencel blend, but I have never had one that was just Merino and Tencel, and it was a 50/50 blend. So I can't wait to see how this knits up. And the Tencel is super sparkly, and I got two because they are supposed to only be 4 ounces each, but I think this is more than 4 ounces. I might weigh it. I got two because 8 ounces will give me about 400 to 500 yards of fingering to sport weight yarn. So I always typically buy at least 4 to 8. I always buy at least 4 ounces, but I tend to buy between 6 to 8 ounces minimum, so that I can get a fingering weight or a sport weight with a lot of yardage. I'm not big on spinning chunky or worsted or DK. I like to spin sport and fingering, so that's what I've got. And then my last Tits Out, I'll have to wait to show you because it's in the other box. And yes, I said other box because there's 2 boxes of stuff down here. The next item that I have was actually a gift that I received from a dear friend on Instagram, and she is testing out her bag pattern. She has created a new bag pattern, and she's testing it out to sell on Etsy. So she asked me if I would be interested in reviewing one, and I said of course. So we also did a mini swap. So she sent me some minis, and she wrote me a beautiful little note about what each one is and who the dyer behind it is. There's some gorgeous colorways in there. I can't wait to look at. The problem with doing mini swaps is I always see yarn in minis that I want full skeins of, so then I have to track them down and buy them. But anyway, so this is her bag she made, and I love it. Okay, so I have not gotten to use this yet. However, I do have some talking points for it. So the first thing off the bat that I absolutely adore is the pattern pouch, the clear plastic pattern pouch. That's one thing that we don't get a lot of from smaller bag makers, and I think it is a fantastic idea. The second thing I love about this is that you can really tell that she put a lot of time into making this bag. Not only does she have contrasting colors on the top and the bottom, but she also lined the plastic pouch. She has the interfacing on the inside as well as a coordinating color. She has a coordinating zipper pull. So that's a handmade beaded zipper pull. So she has most definitely put a lot of time and effort to this, and what I can really appreciate is that I'm a Winnie the Pooh fan. I don't know if you guys knew this. Christopher Robin just came out, and I have not seen it yet because we decided to watch Mission Impossible instead. The reason being is I'm a bigger fan of Winnie the Pooh from my kid days. I'm a huge Mission Impossible fan, and action movies are always better on the big screen. So when we were paying to go see a movie, we were originally going to see Christopher Robin, and I changed my mind at the last minute and said, let's go see Mission Impossible, because Christopher Robin will look the same on my television as it would on a big screen, whereas Mission Impossible would look better on a big screen and in IMAX. So anyway, side note. So I love that this is Winnie the Pooh themed. It's got the honey pots and the honeybees on there, and I love it. The one critique, the one suggestion that I am probably gonna, I want to use it before I give her any suggestions on it, just because I want to be able to honestly give her my opinion. I think the gusset could be maybe an inch wider. But that is a personal preference. I like big gussets in bags, and I cannot lie. I like big gussets. I feel like this will comfortably fit a tightly wound 4-ounce cake of yarn. I like to have a little bit of room around my yarn when I put it down in the bag. So that's one thing. I would probably increase the gusset by maybe a 1/2 inch on either side, and consider adding either a zipper pull with a strap or a handle on the side, because that's my personal preference. Again, those are both personal preferences. Not everybody likes wrist straps. Not everybody likes larger gussets. So if I were to say anything at all about the bag, it would be, my preference would be for a handle and a larger gusset. But other than that, I think this is a high quality bag. She used a high quality zipper in fabric. She put a lot of time into it. She matched up the thread color, and her seams are very, very straight. And overall, I just think this is really impressive. So I am definitely encouraging her to open up her own Etsy shop, because I think this pouch alone is the biggest selling point for me. I love being able to put my pattern in a bag and be able to just lay it in front of me and just grab my knitting out and start knitting and have the pattern right there. This would be perfect. I would love to have one of these clear plastic pouches on the front of my Bags by Awesome Granny's bag. So in other words, I would love to have a bigger version of this with the clear plastic pouch, because that would be so helpful in the sweater I'm knitting right now. Unfortunately, this is not big enough to put 9 skeins of DK in, so it's not the bag that I chose to use for that. It will most likely be the bag that I choose to make my, to put my shawls in, my review shawls, when I decide to start making them. So you will definitely be hearing about this bag again and seeing it in the future. And also I will let you know if she decides to open up an Etsy shop, because right now she does not have one. I received another gift. So I've been having a few rough weeks lately, and I received a surprise package from Laura and Alicia from Knit for Brains, and it was one of the most thoughtful gifts I've ever received. And it was a complete surprise. She texted me and said, hey, by the way, like, I think she said she put a lot of packing material in the box, And so she wanted to tell me that there were multiple items in the box and not to just find one thing and get rid of the rest. She said she was going to completely try to surprise me, but then she was afraid that I would throw away some of the items because I wouldn't see them because of all the packing material. So she decided to tell me. But anyway, so Laura from Knit for Brains used some yarn that I sent her. This is Lorelai's lipstick in DK, and this is available in my shop right now. And she knit me a hat, and I adore it. It's going to be my hat this fall. I didn't want to take it off when she first sent it. I think I can do the Alicia look in this hat to where it's like kind of angled. I got a little bit of a fringe going on, and it is super cute. It's that mauve-y color that I love, and because it's got this lace in here, it's the perfect size and it fits me amazingly. It's not too short, not too long, and I love it. And I think she said she got 2 hats out of 1 skein of DK. So I love this pattern. I love the way that the yarn over spiral, I think it's just so adorable. I love the way the yarn knit up. I don't always get to see how my colorways knit up right away because I don't have time to knit them all. So I love that she was able to do a sample knit for me so that I can get some pictures of this and put it up on Etsy so people can see what it looks like when it is knit up. And I love the different tonal colors in this. I love the lights and the darks in it. So thank you so much, Laura. This means a lot to me. And it smells good too. Smells like the tea that she sent. She sent me some tea. So she sent me this 5 Faves travel pouch from David's Tea. And when the tea is gone in here, this is going to be a Notions pouch. And so she sent, whoop, it got caught in the zipper. There we go. Green tea, green passion fruit, which green tea is one of my faves. Forever Nuts, I've tried that one. It's good. Buddha's Blend, I like that one. Organic cream of Earl Grey and organic cinnamon Rubio's chai. So a few of those I've tried before, and I actually really enjoyed each of them. I'm not a big tea drinker in the summertime. I do enjoy a nice hot cup of tea in the wintertime. I'm more of a plain flavor. The more flavorful the tea is, the less I like it. I like the taste of the tea itself. So the more like stuff that they throw in, the less I like it. And a lot of the teas that were included in my advent calendar last year, I did not enjoy. So I've been kind of staying away from those. But all of these teas that were in the 5 phase, I actually do really enjoy. So I'm really glad that they're in there. And she knows my mug obsession. Guys, I literally cried when I opened this package. It says, "Believe in yourself," which is a great motivational quote that I really needed at this time. So it's amazing, and I love it so much. I love the mug, I love the tea, I love the hat, and it couldn't come at a better time. So thank you so much, Laura. It's very, very much appreciated, and it's so great when I have, like, it's just been a bad few weeks, and I love that I have friends on here that can pick up on that, and just sending a small little gift my way is so uplifting and encouraging, and yeah, thank you. I keep going through the acquisitions. I purchased the Dragon Horde yarn Riddle of the Sphinx sock set, and I can't remember the name of this colorway. I think it's, I almost thought it was like not Aphrodite. It starts with an A. I can't remember. But anyway, she has a new colorwork sock pattern that she came out for this, and I wanted to get her pumpkin everything socks. I wanted to get her pumpkin everything socks, but they sold out before I got one, so I was a little bummed about that, but that's okay. And I showed these to my husband, and he was like, yeah, you need to make me those. Which one is which? Okay, so I've sent a picture of the Mustache Yarns EVP, Dark Side EVP colorway. My husband and his friend are big Pink Floyd fans, and so when I saw this yarn, I sent a picture of how it knits up to my husband, and he was like, and this is the same friend that is a Doctor Who fan, and he was like, yes, knit socks for me and Adam out of that. So I purchased 2 skeins of it, and the idea is Adam has big feet, Jason's friend has big feet, so I purchased 2 skeins because one skein is probably going to go all the way to him. Jason likes, because he likes full crew size, and I think he's a size 12 or 13 men's, which, actually I think it was 13. And my husband has small feet. He has, I think, size 9 men's, and he likes shorties. So I should be able to get 2 or 3 pairs for Jason and 1 pair for Adam out of 2 skeins. The problem is that I accidentally ordered sport weight. I do not like knitting socks with sport weight. I think sport weight creates a thicker, more loose fabric, no matter what size needle you're using. I do not get gauge well with sport weight yarn on socks, so I typically don't knit socks out of sport weight. So I would talk to my husband about my problem, and I said I can make these and I can try to go down a needle size and go down stitch counts to try to make the fabric a little bit tighter so they're loosey-goosey and they fit well. I can do that. I can try, but I can't guarantee that they're going to be the perfect fit that you like, because we just now got his perfect fit pattern down that he loves to wear in the wintertime. So I was like, I can do that, or I can reorder it on fingering weight. And he said, reorder it on fingering weight, because he's very picky, and he knew that if I was going to knit with a thicker yarn, it wouldn't create the same fabric that a fingering weight would. My gauge is spot on with a 2.5 millimeter fingering weight and fingering weight yarn. I can go by rows and stitch counts instead of measuring. So I don't have to measure how long something is with the tape measure, because I know that at 5 inches will be, I'm making this up, 50 rows. It's always the same. So lucky, my gauge doesn't change on my socks. So he knows what he likes, and so therefore I just order it on fingering weight. Which means I now have 4 skeins of Dark Side EVP from Mustache Yarns, 2 on fingering, those are dedicated, 2 on sport, these are not. And I'm considering a few things. Of course, considering one as a giveaway and one as selling. I've considered finding some sort of self-striping, some sort of pattern that isn't socks that still uses self-striping yarn, such as a scarf or a shawl or a hat. I have not decided yet what I'm doing with this. I have 2 skeins of it, so the ideal thing is to find a few patterns, like a long, thick scarf that would use both, and maybe knit those up into a scarf for Jason for winter. Or, I don't know, a couple hats. I could make them matching hats to go with their socks. So that's where I'm asking you guys to come in. Before I decide if I'm going to sell one and give one away, I want to see if I would actually knit these up into something useful. If you guys have any pattern suggestions, please put them in the comments below. Another review that I received is from Bijou Basin, and I was really excited about this one too, and I believe I know this one's due in December. I was excited about this one because I've been using the Bijou Basin wool wash for years, ever since Yarn Hoarder talked about it on her podcast about a year or 2 ago. And I absolutely love it. I need to order some more of it. But they have a new yarn base out because they do dye and sell yarn, and they have a new, it is interesting. It's an interesting blend. 65% silk, 35% baby camel. And they gave me a couple different options of colorways that I could choose from. And they asked me to rank them, my favorite to least favorite. And then they would, depending on how many people signed up for the reviews, they would go through and make sure that everybody got a color or two of what they liked, so that they could even it out and not everybody was knitting with the same colorway. So I chose this one, and the colorway is, this is their Bijou Spun Gobi, quality exotic fibers and yarn. So their fiber content is considered exotic. You don't really find it in most indie dyers shops. So, and for example, this is baby camel, and it is so incredibly soft. Like, the silk helps, but it is super soft. It's got the mohair effect, like the alpaca effect when you look at it, but it doesn't have any of the itchiness. So this is next to Skin Soft. The colorway, I have no idea, because I know they have a colorway name for it, but it's not on the label. So I will see if I can figure that out for you. I know it has 02-078. I don't know what that is, but I know they have colorway names. So I really liked this game because of the purple and the green, and then there's like these pops of orange. So I like that. They also sent me a few other things. They sent me a stitch marker. They sent me a Quality Yak Fiber and Yarns Bijou Basin Ranch sticker. They sent me a to-do list. And they sent me a free pattern for this spade lace vest. The only thing is, I was kind of hoping they would send me a pattern that I could use this yarn for, because this, and I'll show you what it looks like. This vest only goes up to a 48.5-inch bust, and to knit that you need 2 skeins. So first of all, it wouldn't fit me, and second of all, I would need 2 skeins, and they only sent 1. So while I am grateful for the pattern, and I think it's a nice gesture, it's not something I can knit with this yarn, and it actually specifically calls for this yarn. So I don't think I would ever buy this yarn to knit it up with. So I don't know. I'll probably use this in a giveaway. It is a cute vest. It's not very modern. It's kind of country. Maybe if I knew somebody that had a bust that was, well, the only size that uses 1 skein is a size 34-inch bust. So if I knew somebody that had a 34-inch bust, I could knit this pattern out of this yarn and send it to them as a gift. I don't know anybody that has a 34-inch bust. So that would actually wear that. I don't know. So we'll see. I'll have to find a pattern to use that with quite quickly, because, well, not quickly, but it's due in December, but sometime before now in December. The next purchase, I know it's a lot, I'm sorry. So I've been wanting to make, first of all, everybody had their mystery skeins for Harry Potter's birthday. It's funny because I don't remember seeing any of that last year, and then all of a sudden everybody had it this year. But I chose to purchase teeny buttons. Because I just really like, this is really my style right now. I like the light tonals with the light speckles and the natural. I really am digging that right now. So it's called Happy Birthday Harry. And birthday, of course, is spelled Hagrid's way, not the typical way. So there's that. And she had some Birds of a Feather kit. And I've been wanting to make Birds of a Feather, but I really like the look of it in singles. And so I wanted to get a kit from her, but she didn't have it, the yarn, she didn't have the kit available in the color combination that I liked. There was like 3 that I liked. she had quite a few. There's 3 that I really liked, and she didn't have the combination at all in her shop update. So I messaged her because I noticed she had the mohair in stock in the color I wanted and the singles in stock in the color I wanted, but she didn't have them together as a kit. So I was like, can you put this together in a kit for me? And she's like, absolutely. So that's what I did. So I bought a Birds of a Feather kit from her as well, and I got her a la mode and brownie colorway. So this is a beautiful neutral, and I have a lot of family members that I'll say most of what I knit I don't wear myself unless it's like a garment, like a sweater or socks. Most of what I knit is gifted at Christmas time. Sometimes I don't always have the person in mind when I'm knitting it or picking out the yarn. Sometimes I just want to make it. And then as I'm knitting or when I'm finished knitting it, it reminds me of that person. So that's who I give it to as a gift. But in this case, the reason why I wanted this color combination is because my family on my dad's side they wear a lot of brown and neutrals. So it's funny because like I'm a black and gray girl, and it's so weird how like different family dynamics, like, okay, so we all are individualistic and we all say like, well, I like black or I like brown better because it's either black or brown, right? So it's funny because when we're individualistic and we have that opinion, but when you get your family in a group together, if you pay attention close enough, you can tell that families tend to stick together, as in like they dress alike, right? So if you ever pay attention, I bet you if you walk in, your family members will have black, like as in a black shirt, black pants, black belt, black shoes, or they will have brown. And a lot of times it can be told which they like better based on how they decorate their houses. FYI, my mom's side of the family, they like black accents, gray accents. My dad's side of the family, they like brown. So in particular, I know that my aunts and cousins would all love to have that shawl made out of these colors. So I haven't decided which one it'll be for yet, but that is the reason why I chose brown. It's not typically my color, but it'll make a good gift for them. It's probably not going to be a gift for this year. It may be a Christmas gift or a birthday gift for next year or even 3 years from now. Who knows? But at least I have a plan for it. Knitting left. I've been wanting to buy some more wooden sock blockers for a while. I have one wooden sock blocker because I purchased it and I didn't realize it was literally going to be one, not a pair. And it was very expensive for that one. And as you know, there's been a few companies pop out of the woodwork that are now making wooden sock blockers for a very reasonable price. And so I bought a few. I will say I have a few more in the mail. Some are from the same company, some are from a different company. Some are custom, some are not. So I will have more to show, and I don't know why I need this many sock blockers, but I like them, and it's for the podcast. So this is what I purchased. So first of all, I purchased these owls in a size large. She didn't have medium. So these, this is from Knitting Left in case you couldn't already tell. So I got the owls, and that's what I will show Jason and my dad's socks on. I got this Harry Potter one, and well, I call it Harry Potter. I think she called it witch, but it has a lightning bolt, so it's Harry Potter. I got the Harry Potter ones in a medium. I got the Halloween ones in a medium, just like the pumpkins, the cat, the bat, the witch. And I got the Christmas ones in a medium, Santa's sleigh and a couple of reindeer. I've ordered a few more pairs from her that should be here this week. I think they've already shipped. So I'll show those. I actually will not be showing those on the next podcast. I will show one, but the other two are gifts, so I'm not going to show them. Sorry. You'll have to wait and see if those people post it. So you're not going to be seeing it for me. So I will show you mine that I had custom made, and I will have them show you the ones that I had custom made for them once they receive them, because I don't want to spoil the surprise. So I got these, and then there's another company I ordered from. I can't remember the name of it, but they should be here soon, so I will show you those when I get them in. Okay, so spinning. So you guys probably, if you've watched my spinning review, you know that I spun this up for Mach Kramer Yarns as a review, and I did a review on it. It is going to be a sweater spin. I did purchase this big ol' pound of fiber, and my lighting's going to bounce off of it because it's white, and I'm going to spin this and apply these together eventually. Spinning just isn't on my radar right now. I have too many knitting things that need to get done, especially before Rhinebeck, and honestly, I don't know that I'm going to spin again until after Rhinebeck. Hopefully when I get back from Rhinebeck, I get back into spinning, because when I did spin, I really enjoyed it. I received my gift from Desert Rista Dye Works for knitting 6 months of her club, and I requested the neon Christmas tree colorway, and it is very neon-y and glittery. And I've got to do some readjusting because I got to pull this box closer to me. As you know, Fringe came out with a few new bags. These bags I decided to purchase. I don't know if I had them last time or not. I think I did, but I'll show them in case I didn't. I decided to go ahead and start collecting the wax ones too, because I got one from a friend. So I got the army one, which has stuff falling out of it, and I also got the army green tote, and they just came out with a new wax canvas one. It's this cream one, and I will say I'm not a big fan. I'm not a fan at all. It almost looks like a lining. There's some weird speckledness in it. It's kind of see-through. It looks like somebody took some old raincoat fabric and made a bag out of it. Not quite sure why they chose to go with this. It looks very nice in their pictures. I was excited about it in their pictures, and then I got it, and I just don't really care for it too much. I don't know if you can see the little, it almost looks like it has dirt on it. That's the way it came. With all the wax canvas bags, I know you have to break them in, but I don't think, for me, this is not a stiffness problem. This is an actual looks problem, and I told my husband I'm conflicted because I want the whole collection, because I've liked all the bags so far. I don't like this color. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm very disappointed. So I thought about selling it, but then I would be missing one from the entire collection. We'll see. We'll see if I can get rid of my emotional attachment to it. And they came out with a new Porter bin in this great honey colorway. It's showing up a bit darker right now. There we go. That's a little bit truer to color. It's like this honey green, and it's interesting because it's like this dirty yellow, mustard yellow. And it's interesting because I never in a million years would have guessed that this is the color that they would have came out with. It's not that I don't like it. I do, but I think they're kind of missing the boat on, I think, with as popular as they are, the French bags, I think they're really missing the boat with picking out colors. I think I like the army green, and I think there's a decent market for army green, but I think there's a bigger market for the other type of colors that they've done, like the pinks. And why haven't they came out with a purple yet? Like, I'm not sure why they haven't done that. The Jen Hewitt fabrics would be beautiful on these bags. I don't know. A yellow, their yellow that they have for Lobby NMA would have looked gorgeous in a field bag. That's my favorite one, is the yellow one. You would think it would be the pinks because I'm a pink girl, but the yellow is my favorite. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. I might sell some off. Now that I've collected them all, I'm like, maybe I'll sell a few. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want out of life, guys. I love the bags. That's the thing. The only reason I'm thinking about selling is because of the colors, not the bags themselves. So there's that. Okay. last Tits Out colorway that I collected, or that I ordered, and this is from Skein Cocaine. She did some sock blanks and scanned them up into gradients. And she has a pattern that she's working on where you can hold two together, opposite ends, so one from the outside, one from the inside, and make a shawl out of, and it looks really cool. So that's why I bought these, so that I can make that shawl when it comes out. I purchased this yarn from Dragon Horde Yarn. This is her Minotaur colorway, and it's a bit darker than what it shows in her pictures, but I like it. It's got like the army green and brown in it. It's definitely different for me, but I really wanted something like this to knit my honeycomb sweater out of. Not honeycomb sweater, woolen honey. Always get those mixed up. So this is what I chose for that. I still don't know if this is going to be my woolen honey colorway or not, sweater or not. That's what I ordered it for, but it is a lot darker than in the pictures that I've seen of it. And I think it would make a gorgeous sweater. But I just don't know. I don't know if that's what I envisioned for that or not. I don't know. I don't know. I'm so bad. I'm so bad because I make these impulse purchases and then I'm like, maybe I want to go a different direction. That's why I need to just stop buying things until I'm ready to cast on. So there's that. And this seems like a lot, and it is a lot. But mind you, this is like that I ordered before I podcast last time. So this last big box here, I've been wanting to buy some Knit Picks Stitchy yarn, and I came across their kit that they had, and it comes with like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 of these skeins for like less than $50. And I think I got it on sale for like $35. So these will make great Christmas gifts. They're probably not going to be knit up for Christmas this year, but eventually they will be Christmas and birthday gifts from my dad's side of the family because they definitely use these kind of things. That have a ton of different colors. Can somebody tell me if these make 2 or 3 dishcloths each? Because I want to give them in sets, and if I need to, I want to buy coordinating solid colors. So if this makes 2, I think I would buy a white, blue, and yellow, and I would make a couple different sets of 1 multicolor, 1 white, 1 blue, 1 yellow. So 4 in a set. Or maybe I'll give them 2 and then 1 white, 1 blue, 1 yellow. Or 1, why do I keep saying yellow? Red. My brain's fried. I don't know. Let me know how many dishcloths. I want to do the grandma's favorite dishcloth, I think it's called, without the yarn overs. The same ones the Yarn Hoarder does. So let me know how many these make so I can figure out what I need to order. That's it for acquisitions. I did want to let you guys know that, so we're going to move into shop talk. So I wanted to let you know that Advent Calendar sign-ups close August 31st. I've had so many more orders than I thought I would have, which is it's a good thing. I'm excited about it. Also, I am working with a few other podcasters to include some of their products within my advent calendars, and a couple of them I'm not ready to talk about yet just because they're not finalized. I'm like 100%, like 99% that their product is going to be in the advent calendar, but they don't have the prototype yet, so I'm waiting for that before I announce it. But I did meet up with Levi from WTF Knitting, and I did swindle him into making some Notions pouch, and he gave me the prototype so I could show you guys. The Notions pouches, and I'm not trying to spoil anybody's advent calendar, but I did want to let you guys know that this is going to be in there because it may be a selling point for some of you. I know some of you have either purchased or seen Levi's other bags, and his bags are amazing. And while this is not a full-size bag, it is a Notions pouch. He is not making full-size bags right now. So if you want to get something from him, then right now the only way to do that is to get one of my advent calendars. In the future, I'm trying to convince him to open his Etsy shop back up, but we'll see. So the Notions pouches are going to be like this. So they're going to have the clear plastic so you can see in them, and they're going to be square Christmas fabric with a zipper at the top. So my prototype actually has this extra piece of fabric at the top, and we've talked about it and we've decided not to do that. I say we like I'm sewing it, not even. So it will be like this, and it's adorable and it fits. There's some notions I'm including in the advent calendars that are sitting right here that we've already tested. They will fit in this, so it'll fit all the notions that you will receive in your advent calendar, and it has Levi's little tag on it. So you guys, if you want one, the only way to get it right now is through my advent calendar. I have 25 and 12 days available depending on your budget and what you want or need, and so those close on August 31st, so make sure that you go out and check those out before the listing's gone, because once August 31st comes, I'm closing it down and you will not be able to get it any longer, because I will finish ordering the inventory and start dyeing them up and putting them together the first week of October, so that they can get out, or the first week of September, so that they can get out into the mail to you by November 1st. A couple things. Yarn of the Month signups are not yet open for September. They just closed for July, and I sent them out this week. So if you have not already received yours, you should be getting yours shortly. I wanted to show you 2 months worth of colorways because I'm behind. So this is a spoiler alert for July's colorway. I will say I made an accident, a boo-boo, on the tags that I put, and they say August yarn of the month, but this is in fact July yarn of the month. I know some of you were confused and messaged me about that, so thank you so much. I apologize. July was a very busy month, so it just kind of happened. So the theme for July is Wizard of Oz, which is one that I've been wanting to do for quite a while, not only because I love Wizard of Oz, but one of my mom's good friends and one of my friends, Elizabeth, she's our moderator in our group, is a huge Wizard of the Oz fan, so I wanted to do it. I thought it would be perfect. So here's the colorway. So I wanted to go with a speckly rainbow, and I think it turned out. This is it on Sparkle. So we have all different kinds of colors in there, and I really loved how it turned out. We have Sparkle, we have 80/20, and we have DK. And this is actually Sparkle DK, so which is a new base available in my shop for some of my colorways. So yeah, I really, really, really like how this one turned out. I don't have the progress keeper that I sent out is over there. It is a ruby red slipper, and you also receive, what was the goodie? I don't remember. I think I sent some Honeybee Knits branded stuff in the July yarn of the month. I have some items available in my Etsy shop for purchase. I have the enamel pins available with the Honeybee Knits logo, and I have these are not yet available. They will eventually be in my Etsy shop once I can get some good photographs and have time to put up the listings. But I have tape measures, I have pins, writing pins. The enamel pins are already up, and also sticky notes. So some of you have been receiving those in your packages. I do add them in packages for new customers and for orders over a certain amount, or customers that have been ordering from me from the beginning. I did a weekend event where if you placed an order, you got one of the writing pins for free. So yeah, so it's been fun to do that. This next one is probably a spoiler because I don't think all of you have received it yet. This is the actual August yarn of the month, so if you do not want to see it, please look away now and mute. So this month's theme was Jane Eyre, which is one of my favorite movies from when I was a teenager. It's one of my first classic movies I remember watching, and it's one of the very few where I like the movie better than the book. That's probably debatable for most people, but it is what it is. So I chose to do Jane Eyre. It's one of my favorite love stories, and here it is. So it has, and it's kind of showing up gray, but on the actual skein itself is brown. So it has brown, it has gray, and it has blue in there, as well as some natural. So I love how this one turned out. And you had the option of adding a coordinating mini this month as well. So this is on DK Sparkle. Also, there are some like pinky red speckles in there. I wouldn't call them speckles, I'd call them more splotches. So I really loved it. I love making this one. I think it's a more masculine colorway, so I think it's really good for neutral projects that you want to make. And I've been trying to be more neutral with some of my colorways that I've been making because I tend to go towards the pinks, the bright poppy colors. In case you haven't noticed, in my Etsy shop, I have released some of my Disney Princess sock kits. There are two versions because the first version I dyed did not come out the way I envisioned it, so I re-dyed it. So there are two versions for the first two kits that have been released. There are going to be a total of 8 kits. The first 2 have 2 versions. The last 6 will have 1 version. So here are what they look like. So my first one I picked was Jasmine from Aladdin because Aladdin is my husband's favorite Disney movie, and so I wanted it to be the first I did. So this is version 1. So you have it's a tonal with some speckles, and then it has pinks, purples, and blue, and I really like it. And then here's version 2, which it's got the lighter speckles with the natural colors in it, and you can definitely see the speckles better in version 2. So I love them both, so they are both for sale in my Etsy shop. The second one I chose to do is Belle. Beauty and the Beast is my favorite Disney movie. So here's version 1. So it's got the tonal yellow, and I tried to speckle with some blue and it turned out green, which is why this is version 1. But I still love the way this colorway turned out. I still love it. So that's version 1, and I think those would make some really cool socks. And then here's version 2, which is my absolute favorite. So it's got blue, and it's got some pinky reds and yellow, of course. So there's that. And so those are the first 2 Disney Princess sock kits. Also, I had another colorway that was an oopsie. I think I called it Oopsie Daisy, is my one-of-a-kind colorway. This is called Lucky Star, and the reason why it's called Lucky Star before I show it is because it is a one-of-a-kind colorway, and the fact that no 2 skeins match or are the same, but it's dyed with the same colors and it's dyed the exact same way. So it just, the way these dyes interact with each other and the way I dye it, I can never guarantee that 2 skeins will be the same. So this is called, anytime you see a Lucky Star colorway, that's what that means. Anytime you see an Oopsie Daisy skein, it means that I was trying to dye something else and it turned out like this, so it's a one-of-a-kind. So here is Lucky Star. So I have multiple different skeins of this on different bases. All of them look different. Some have more purples in them, some have more pinks, some have more reds and oranges. This one happens, and I gotta get really close to the camera to show, this one happens to have more teals and blues. So this is one of my favorites. I love it. So I have some of those in the shop, and you can see them all photographed. So if there's one that you prefer, feel free to message me and I can tell you if I still have it, and if so, I can make sure you get that one. The next thing I want to show you is not yet available in my shop, but it will be when I get back from Las Vegas as a sweater kit and as one-off skeins. They are going to be dyed to orders. And here they are. I love these so much. I have to admit, this is a selfish dye. I will show one of each so you can see them better and I don't have to hold them up. I'm going to make this Zvig, I know that's wrong, the Zvig pullover by Caitlin Hunter. And these are going to be my colors. So my main body is going to be the pink, and then my contrasting color is going to be the light speckled. So I'm super duper excited about this, and I will soon have these up available as dye to orders for you guys so that you guys can make something beautiful with it as well. And I think I'm going to start making more kits like this where we have the tonal, and it is a true tonal. I love the look of the light and dark colors throughout the skein. I think it looks amazing when it knits up. So you will have a tonal and you will have a matching speckled skein, lightly speckled skein. So I'm going to make some more different. So this one's like the mauve pink. I want to make like a brown one. I want to make maybe a purple or blue for Laura because she loves blue. So we'll see. I'll let you know. But yeah, I'm really excited about this and I can't wait to knit this. It probably won't be my next sweater because I really want to get my Rhinebeck sweaters done and I know this one's going to take some time. So I'm thinking this might be either my 5th one and final one, so that way I can try to finish it, but if I don't, I can knit on it in Rhinebeck, or it will be done after Rhinebeck. So it won't be casted on anytime soon, but it's definitely dream knitting, and I'm excited to put these up as dyed orders for you guys so that you guys can enjoy those colors as well. It's one of my favorites that I've dyed up. This would be a gorgeous 2-skein shawl too, or even a sock kit. I love it so much. I'm like drooling. There's so many endless possibilities. And I am going to knit it on my worker bee base, which I don't normally use, but I am really digging it lately. I'm really, really liking it. So yeah. Okay, I think that's it. What time is it? 8 o'clock. So I've been podcasting for almost 2 hours nonstop. I'm sorry if this one felt rushed. I felt overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that I wanted to show you guys. I have some errands that I have to run tonight. I have some knitting I want to do. I've got to edit this. Hopefully there's not too much editing. I don't think I messed up too much. As far as personal update, I'm doing well. I am still going to therapy. That has been a lifesaver for me right now. I've lost weight. I have lost a total of 29.6 pounds. I am almost to 30 pounds. However, I also think I've gained some this week. So I have a little bit more than, I probably have a couple pounds to lose to get down to 30 pounds lost. I went to the doctor a few days ago for a checkup and I had lost 14 pounds since the last time I saw her in June. So just over 2 months. I have lost 14 pounds, which is great for me because I was the type of person that would start a diet and I would lose like 10 pounds the first week. And that's not exaggerating. I would lose 10 to 12 pounds in the first week. And then I would lose like 1 or 2 pounds every week after that. But I never kept it off. So this time I am focusing less on how quickly I lose the weight and more about losing weight and keeping it off. So since December, I've almost lost 30 pounds, which doesn't seem like a lot because that's 8 months. But within the last 2 months, I've lost 14. So I'm pretty proud of that. We're leaving, today's Thursday, we're leaving for Las Vegas Monday. I'm excited. We have all of our tickets purchased. We're going to go see 3 Cirque du Soleil shows. We're going to the Hoover Dam. Jason's going skydiving. We're going to a few different museums. So I'm really excited about everything that we're going to experience there. I'm a little bit nervous because I don't want to leave my dog and my cats. And I haven't flown on a plane in 11 or 12 years. But other than that, everything will work out. Everything will be fine. I'll have my knitting with me, so that'll be good. I think that's it. So I'm just going to spend the weekend. I've got to spend tonight and tomorrow editing and uploading this podcast, working on my sweater. I need to spend this weekend packing and getting ready, making sure we have everything we need, making sure that Izzy and the cats have everything they need. And that's it. One more day of work and I get a week off, so it'd be nice to have a break. The loft is a disaster, so I'm going to try to speed clean it because I've got things to do, so I don't have a lot of time to spend on it. Yeah, So I hope you guys had a great month. I am sorry that I did not podcast as much as I wanted to this month. I am hoping that changes for September. I can't promise anything. I did have a week where I had time to podcast, but I mentally wasn't up for it. I just couldn't put myself in front of a camera that day. So, yeah, everything's pretty good. I'm doing very well, and I look forward to not having these huge long podcasts and doing more shorter ones, because I enjoy the shorter ones so much more. And I don't have that much energy today, so I'm not as hyper as I was in my last podcast. So I'm sorry if you picked up on that. But thank you guys for reaching out to me with all the lovely messages. Thank you for participating in the cows. Please, please, please contact me with any questions, concerns, or comments about the video, whether it's in the down box below, on Ravelry, on Instagram, any feedback that you have for the podcast or otherwise. Yarn of the Month will be open when I get back from Vegas. Advent calendars close at the end of this month. I think that's it. Make sure you're knitting your sweaters for Rhinebeck, or not for Rhinebeck, just knitting your sweaters for the Race to Rhinebeck Cal. Your socks, I need to get my DVD socks casted on. Yeah, I might do a vlog. I don't know though, because I do most of my vlogs on Instagram, so if you're interested in seeing any of that, feel free to follow me on Instagram. I like doing vlogs for my podcast, but it's a lot to put them together and edit. So, let's see. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and hopefully I will see you the week I get back from Vegas, and I will have lots of knitting to show by then. Fingers crossed. I'll talk to you guys soon.